Last week, there was a big breakdown when it came to the 70/30 guarantee, what was going on there, this external expense, all of that great stuff. A lot of confusion, a lot of questions, what was going on. So we're going to try to clear up some misunderstandings, some things that we were able to find out, and a little bit more information. So let's get started on some breakdown,
All right.
workings, and definitions.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how many hundreds of screenshots on this, Chris. And my tough, brain says, my knucklehead or thick skull says I gotta look at everything. All right. So first of all, let's start with the definitions of these things, okay? Because we did our show last week. It was just new. It was being released that day, and we were under embargo. We knew about it, but then I wrote about it on our newsletter, and now we have this thing under our belt. Okay, I'm going to come clean on this. I am going to say exactly what I'm thinking. FYI, I had a meeting with Lyft about this because they did not like what I said on Business Insider. Okay, I called it top 85% subsidizing the bottom 15%. They did not like it. I explained myself to them. Maybe they'll understand, but I'm going to explain it to you guys. Okay. First of all, please, I love you guys sending me all these screenshots. Please do not. My hard disk is filling up. Do not send me singular individual trip screenshots saying, oh, look at this. They took 75%. That is not the point of this, what Lyft is doing. Again, I'm not defending Lyft. Some people said, oh, Serge is working for Lyft or whatever. Like, whatever. Trolls are trolls. You have to look at this Sunday night when you finish driving. Period. First of all, that's my number one advice to you guys. Stop looking at it trip by trip by trip by trip. Okay? 1. 2. Let's get to the definitions. Passenger payments. Pretty simple. Everything that the passenger paid. Okay? Which I'm going to read the definition so you guys get it. The amount passengers paid, the aggregate, the total, for the rides you gave from Sunday 4 a.m. to Sunday 4 a.m. Okay, weekly. All right. This does not include pass-throughs such as cancellation fees or tips. Tips are not included in that top number. We're going to show more. We're going to break it down for you guys. Taxes and government fees, those are your city taxes, state taxes, and airport fees. Like every time I take somebody to LAX or pick up, it's a $4 fee. So that's the taxes and government breakdown. FYI, if you want to read this on your own, people, next to each column or next to each line item, there is an I, like a letter I with a circle. That's this explanation. If you click on it, you will get to this explanation. Lyft fee, the amount collected by Lyft to maintain the platform, invest in growing ridership, and make app improvements. Fine. If you earn a large amount of bonuses in your earnings may exceed 100%. On the next set of screenshots, I'm going to explain to you guys how you can get that number up into the 100% plus level. And Lyft's earnings commitment. Okay, here's the math. Lyft says that out of $1 of passenger fare, 24 cents on average nationwide. Now, Chris, I had like 500 screenshots. They go, look at this. It was like 40% for external fees. I understand it's on that singular trip. Lyft is saying that 20 cents out of that dollar, Chris, goes towards external expenses on average. Okay? Now we're left with what? 76 cents, people. Okay? Follow me here. From that remaining 76 cents, Lyft is saying that our break between the driver and Lyft at a minimum is going to be 70% for the driver, 30% for Lyft. It could be 80%, it could be 85%, it could be 110% depending on the bonuses. The 70-30 is a floor that if it does go below that floor, you will be made up, just like in this driver's case. Look at the right-hand screenshot. This driver's earnings were $63.30. Passenger payments after external expenses were $88.72. While his earnings only made up 63% of that number. Well, what did Lyft do? Lyft in green, you guys see that green on the right? This is a real screenshot. This is not received from Lyft. $5.94 was credited to this driver to make it up to that 30%. My problem with this, Chris, is that Lyft's own blog said 15% or 15 out of 100 drivers consistently are earning below that 70-30 cut after external expenses. 85% of drivers are earning above this cut already. So my problem with this is that, as we all know how good these algorithms are, we have the floor at 70-30. How quickly are these algorithms are going to bring everybody to that floor? So 85%, a majority, is earning more than 70%. And 15% are earning below. I get it. The bottom 15%, who probably shouldn't even be on the platforms because they suck as a driver, they are being moved up. Yeah, all that 15% is going to earn more. Now, is the money going to come from the top 85%? That's the way I'm looking at it, but Lyft did not like that. So let's go to the next screenshot. Here is the honest weeks of work for this driver, and two of them actually side by side. As you guys can see the dates, one is from January 29th to February 4th, and the next one, the one in black, is February 5th to February 11th. Okay? One other thing that Lyft has done, stopped by the way, Chris, is now they don't show you the online hours. They just show you the booked hours and booked miles. I mean, you know why they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, to me, it's not that kosher, but it is what it is. And I'm going to say this straight up. On the left screenshot, $1,251.09 was the total fares, excluding tips. Now, remember the 24% I told you guys, right? If you look at this 20 on, that was an average, but look at the estimated external fees they took away from this driver, $426. That's almost 40%. The next line item, estimated Lyft fee, is $76.80. This is what I discovered after I looked at hundreds of screenshots, Chris. It's almost like a shell game here that the house always wins. When the external fees are very high, Lyft's take rate is low. By the way, what is in the external fees, you guys are going to say? According to Lyft, 80% of external fees are commercial insurance. Okay? When that line item is high, external fees item is high, it seems like Lyft's take rate is low. Okay. Then you add the tips, then you add the tolls and the adjustments. This driver earned $1,099.09. A lot of you said, Sergio, they're taking 60% if you look at their math. I'm like, okay, let's take that math. Out of $1,251, if you look at 426, that's close to 40% that they took, 37%, right? And whatever is remaining from that, the 70-30 cut comes into play. In this driver's case, he was not below the 70-30 cut. So that's why he earned his $1,099.09 grossed. He grossed. And there were no adjustments necessary in his case. On the right-hand screenshot, this driver earned $1,481.07. That was his net after all these expenses. If you look at his breakdown, okay, $1,866 was, his gross, passenger aggregate fares without tips. Estimated external fees, in this case now, if you guys see, that number is low. $2.29 is much less than the Lyft's average 24 cents per dollar. Is literally like 12% there. But then look what happens to the other column. When the external fees are low, the estimated Lyft fee is high. When the external fees are high, the estimated Lyft fees are low. Lyft, I know math as well as you guys do, okay? There is these number shifting going on between these two columns. I get it. Everybody needs to make money. Now, if I look at this driver's results, one day, by the way, I don't know why they don't put hours, Chris. They put 1 day and 15 hours. I'm like, why can't you just put freaking 40 hours there? You know what I'm saying? 1 day is 24 plus 15, 39, 40 hours. This driver grossed about $32 per active hour or booked hour, right? And if all these numbers are self-explanatory, lastly, what I'm going to say to you guys is this. This is the way I'm looking at this math. 24 cents of each dollar goes to external expenses. You're left with 76. 70% of that 76 is 53 cents or 53. You're left with 53. That's the bottom line cut. It could be 60, it could be 65. However, if the algos are going to lower this right to that 70-30 cut, 85% who are earning more are going to get hurt, and 15% who are earning less than that cut are going to improve. No ifs and buts. It's simple math, because Lyft is not going to pay that out of their pocket. Lastly, 53 cents out of each dollar after external expenses. Yes, you all said, well, screw Lyft. Why am I paying for external expenses? And we agree. Me and Chris, we agree on this one. If a passenger pays $1 and you're making 53%, Lyft's take is considered 47%, right? But, this is hocus pocus math that they do, which is fine. We get it. So the worst case is 53 cents you're going to make out of each dollar. We ran our surveys. 62% of you said Lyft earns between 50 and 75 cents. 75%. That's their take rate. Well, according to this, it's 53% for you, 47% for Lyft. So all the 62% were incorrect, according to that. However, all of you are saying that, oh, this is hocus pocus. I agree. What I'm saying is that you guys kind of knew or felt that the cut was 50-50. Now Lyft is straight up telling you guys it's 50-50. This is the math, and it comes down to 50-50. So I don't know what else to say about this. But please stop sending me individual screenshots of one trip where Lyft took 70%. And I'm not liking this, but this company needs to go profitable, just like Uber did a couple of quarters ago, and that's on their way. And I think this is going to do it. And when I called it the Robin Hood method to Lyft, Chris, they did not like it. Take it from the rich, give it to the poor. I'm like, look, man, those 15% bottom feeders, I don't think they should be driving. You know what I mean? The money is going to come from somewhere for those people. And let me not say subsidized, but where's the money coming from? It's coming from the top 85%. Math is pretty simple to me. So you guys had about a week to live with this. Email me, Sergio@RideShareGuy.com. Are you guys liking it? Are you guys not liking it? Are you feeling more secure that maximum Lyft is going to take 47 cents out of the dollar after external expenses? You guys let me know. There you go.
Yep. I can't say it any better. So what you said there is perfect. But yeah, I think the only thing I can say is over time, we're actually going to see what happens. And you and I both said that we're going to go out and really test this with our numbers too, to see where, we were prior to where the adjustment is. So is it bringing drivers to that 70% threshold for that guarantee, which essentially would be about that 50-50 split? Or is it going to kind of remain as is? What's going on there? So we're definitely going to look at it, and numbers are going to be our friend when it comes to figuring out math. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And yeah, if you guys want to send your weekly breakdowns, not as Sergio said, not individual trips, but weekly breakdowns, then we can go ahead and go from there. And try to get a little bit more math and a little bit more numbers on everything. And then the other thing too is if you're also sending your weeklies, try to send your weeklies from the last several weeks, so we can see again prior to this change to now and what's going on there.
Yeah, the other thing is, now you're realizing what you were feeling. All the drivers were thinking or assuming that it was 50-50, 60-40, whatever. Well, now Lyft is saying straight up to our faces, it's 50-50, people. Take it or leave it.
At a minimum.
Look, yeah, at the minimum. So the last thing about this is I actually have a bunch of screenshots of people who fell short last week. And there is a little mathematical, you know what? I'm not going to call it a bad name. Math in percentage terms, right? Okay. What if you were like 6.2% short for the week, Chris? You know, there is something called rounding in math, right?
Mhm.
Are they going to take that exactly six? Because on the other screenshot where there was an adjustment, there was a whole number there, right? What if you're at like 6.45%? Are they going to push that to 7%, or are they going to roll it down to 6? Because that 0.5% may make a lot of money, may mean a
You
lot
know
of money.
you know that 0.5% is gonna roll down, right? I mean,
I don't
look
know.
at
I
what they're
don't.
doing.
I
Well,
honestly, I hope not. But so,
I will tell you my proof on why I guarantee that would happen. And
but
that
that's a lot of
is
money.
going to, yeah, but look at what happened in Washington and Seattle. When they were showing their rate was at a specific dollar amount,
Yeah.
which was a dollar. I think at the time it was $1.40. What they were showing on the rate card was 139.75. So that's a quarter of a penny that they were taking out.
Yeah.
And that's what
$150,000.
when our friend Walter came back and said, "Hey, look what they're doing here. How much of that they're actually adding when it comes to the drivers in Washington." So you know damn well that those percentage points they're going to roll down, so it's going to be in their favor and not anybody else's.
Well, I want to. Okay, this is what I want to do with the community. Okay, send them to me. Don't hesitate. If you're short, okay, because we can exactly figure out what the percentages are. See, this is called Lyft. This is called a calculator. It's simple arithmetic. Lyft. It's not that difficult. So I will calculate that to the decimal, second decimal. I'm not going to go 3, 4 decimals, but at least to the second decimal. And if somebody is at 6.2% and you go 6, that 0.2% could be $5, $10, $15 times million drivers. I'm watching Lyft. I'm not eating this. I'm already thinking ahead. So please send them to me, your weeklies. Please, please, begging. Do not send me individual trips, please. But send me the
What this
weekly.
kind of reminds me of? You know that movie Office Space?
Yeah.
You know that when they go in, they're like, well, all these calculations on a quarter of a penny, and they're trying to update so everybody's backed up. It seems like that's what they're doing essentially. That they're just taking that quarter of the percent, and then they're going to round down into their favor, which is going to obviously skew the books into their favor. Which all that extra money that should be going to drivers really isn't. So instead of being at the 60% on the mark, you're hitting anywhere from like 59 point,
Yeah.
3% and higher could be where it's at. So yeah, there could be a little bit of finagling
Yeah,
within.
I need to see those. So if you guys are short, especially if you're over, don't send it to me because there's no
Thanks, Alan.
adjustment. You're at
Appreciate it.
75%, 80%. But if you're short and there's an adjustment being made, like the screenshot that we showed to you guys, I don't want this percentage game to work against the drivers. Okay. And I will figure out to the second decimal and I will bombard them with goddamn emails. And that is, look, this is already happening. It's a shape. I mean, we're going to talk about this next week. This upfront fares shenanigans. A lot of drivers are driving a lot of minutes, a lot of miles for nothing, for free, no adjustments. Okay. And then sometimes when they go like a quarter of a mile short and 5 minutes short, the fare is getting cut by 25%. So that's a no Lyft. The other thing I can promise you, Lyft, this percentage thing, don't play the game. I mean, I'm already thinking ahead. I'm sure if I get 50 of these this week and somebody's going to be like 6.45% and you're going to go up 6%, that 0.45% on somebody, if the adjustment is $100, that's like $4 or $5. Why are we playing this rolling game? Stay with the decimals. I'm watching. So please send me those. If you're short, please send them to me.
Somebody just said, what's 9/10 of a cent? Well, here's the thing: 9/10 of a cent over a million rides, that adds up. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars at that point. So it adds up. And the amount of trips that they've done a day, an hour, a quarter, that all adds up. So yeah, it can be a lot of extra money that should be going to you. Yeah, it might not seem like it's a lot. It might seem like it could be a few dollars, but again, that's a few dollars that you should be getting. So if you add those few dollars up, what is that going to be? That's, hopefully some extra bills, whatever it might be, not having to work, extra time or something like that. That's a lot. So yeah, it could break down that way. But yeah, I mean, don't let fractions of a penny fool you, because
Well,
on
I mean, look,
fractional basis on one, yeah, it's nothing. But when you start multiplying it by hundreds, thousands, millions,
of drivers.
more billions, now it's
Well,
adding up.
the other thing is, Chris, is like if somebody's at 6.75%, they roll up. Great, we get more. But I want to know what happens. Are we going to mess with this rolling? Look, with this guarantee, Chris, more math is created for the driver. Okay, especially if they're under, right? Now we got to chase our money. We were short. We messed up. We didn't drive properly. Strategy was not good. There were no bonuses, whatever. When we're under, now we have to make sure that we get the money as well, by the way, right? You know how we have the glitches, money doesn't show up, all this stuff happens. I mean, I think they just created more work, more math, but, you know, we'll figure out the math lift. Just don't be concerned about that. So if you're over or under, please, you know, whatever you guys want, send me the the screenshots. I'll just compile them and ship it out. I go, this is bullshit. Don't guys do that. We're on top of that. You know, I mean, Inspector Clouseau, I'm like, I'm tired of it, but it is what it is. So anyway, so that's that. So it's 50-50, people, 53-47, but let's call it 50-50, okay? That's where we are.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.